Hey guys, and welcome back to the ASX Investor channel. And welcome to a special CEO interview today. Today, we're rejoined once again by Brett Lynch, the CEO and Managing Director of Sayona Mining. But we're having an interesting discussion. We're going to have a broader look at the lithium sector and the tailwinds that are really driving not only the lithium sector, but the EV battery supply space around the world. We all know that decarbonisation is a trend that's continuing to grow in focus. We know there's significant opportunity, and obviously the localization of supply chains around the world is really being a trend that many investors are looking at how they can get exposure to it. So we're joined by Brett Lynch. He's got significant experience in the resources sector. And obviously Sayona are playing on the forefront of the lithium space in North America. So it'll be an exciting discussion if you've been interested in understanding how the space works and also what COP26 and some of those different regulatory discussions could mean for the sector. Today is a video for you. Brett, it is an absolute pleasure to have you join us once again. Welcome back, mate.
Hey, thanks very much. A pleasure to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you on the channel. Of course, we recently had a video where we deep dove into the Sayona Mining story. So we'll leave a link to that after this one that investors can check out. But it'd be great to just have that overview about the lithium sector at the moment. We know it's been an interesting period from 2017-18, the highs. Obviously, there was a bit of a bust cycle through, and now it's picking up in attention, continuing to. How are you seeing the space at the moment?
Well, never boring, that's for sure. And you know, the current trajectory is just astonishing. 2021, right, is really, I think, opening everyone's eyes and minds and investment wallets to, I think, the growth potential that is there in developing, right, solutions for climate change. And I think, this is just now having good plans and being able to keep up and good technology and a real openness to adapt. I think this is where real entrepreneurship skills can come to the front. So yeah, I think it's just an exciting time to be part of it. It's great.
And I'm sure many investors would be familiar with the fact that lithium, of course, is such a core component in lithium-ion batteries. But can you talk about what the actual opportunity is for lithium, the types of demand that we're starting to see and will likely continue to see grow moving forward?
Well, as you say, lithium is a core component of lithium batteries, and lithium batteries will be, a key element of redefining, the emissions from vehicles. And transport is, what I see the stats potentially about 20% of, the contribution towards carbon emissions. And so it's not a small element to be able to minimise and potentially eliminate. And electric vehicles, and therefore powered by lithium, are going to be a very significant proposition in that solution, that part of the solution for sustainable, solutions to climate change.
And there's obviously many different components of the supply chain. Are you able to just give a bit of an insight about how the lithium goes from mine in the space of the spodumene project all the way through to eventually the downstream process and then finds its way into the batteries?
Yeah, look, the supply chain for lithium, and I'll specifically focus on hard rock lithium, which is what we specialise in. Is a process where we quarry it from typical mining operations. They're not huge scale operations compared to coal or iron ore. They're relatively much smaller. And that ore then is concentrated to 6% spodumene. And from that process, it then is converted to the chemical lithium hydroxide or lithium carbonate. And that is at a 99.999% purity to ensure it has the right performance characteristics for the batteries that go into electric vehicles. The key, I think, to this supply chain is, quality, reliability, and efficiency, both in terms of cost and carbon. And if I just focus on a couple of those elements, the reason why we believe spodumene is a premium lithium raw material is because, it's a hard rock. It's not a gas or a liquid, and you can weigh it, you can measure it, and it doesn't disappear or run away. And from that perspective, it is very secure. And you need, if you're building the world's energy business to have long-term, secure, reliable, regular sources of that raw material. So that's why we're very comfortable. The world's been built on mining for a lot of years, and I think hard rock mining is something we know well and are very comfortable with. The second part of spodumene is its conversion into lithium hydroxide, which is a form of lithium that the car manufacturers are really moving towards, particularly in the West and in the US market, Tesla, etc. And the most efficient, cost-effective, as well as environmentally, from a carbon footprint, is to move directly from spodumene to hydroxide. Again, this is part of the reasons why we're focused in North America, where the market is demanding that type of end product, and spodumene certainly is the preferred raw material to there. The third element is around the economics. Again, in this process, you don't want to be moving that material long distances when it's only 6% concentrate. It's 94% waste rock. That is incredibly inefficient in terms of dollars per tonne, and it's incredibly wrong in terms of reducing the carbon footprint. And this is again why we see spodumene reserves in Quebec, which are the largest spodumene reserves in all of North America, right at the doorstep of the big car manufacturing and electric vehicle facilities that are being built and converted now in Ontario, as well as in the States, means it becomes some of the, if not the lowest delivered, energy cost per tonne to the end users. And that really is, an important strategy and benefit of having a very tight, closed supply chain in North America.
And I wanted to spend some time reflecting on that North American market as well, because of course the flagship project and the hub that you're developing is located in Quebec, but there's an opportunity to continue to focus with Tesla leading the line, but we know GM, Ford, there's so many different manufacturers at the moment with this transition towards the EVs. Can you talk about why the North American market's so enticing as the localization of supply chain starts to pick up pace?
Well, I think it's, two reasons. It's speed and volume. And firstly, you can see in speed, just as you said, in 2020, Tesla was the name. 2021, well, it's one amongst many. Ford, GM, Chrysler, all of them have come now to really put some serious commitment and investment dollars on the table to drive this conversion to electric vehicles. Obviously, they see it, one as a necessity within the US economy and supported by the government, in terms of climate change, but also, in terms of developing the technologies that will power their businesses for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So each of them, just announced investments of, I think more than 30 billion each, in terms of converting their fleets or production capacity and fleets by 2030 to 50% of their fleet will be EV vehicles. And so, there's almost $100 billion that private industry has put on the table over and above what the Biden regime is committing to. So that, gives us a scale of what needs to be happening. We have the most number of, we have the largest resource base now in North America through the acquisitions we've made in 2021. And I talked to you last time about the NAL mine and acquiring that. If we put that into scale, we will need something like the North American market will need, up to 20 of those mines to be able to fulfill in 2030 the needs for Ford, GM, Tesla, and Chrysler, if they are to supply those within the North American market, just as we've talked about the environmental and cost efficiencies and logic and security of supply that would drive them. So that, is I think in terms of the volume and then the speed, to develop those supply chains, mines through to production facilities, and to be able to do 20 of them by 2030 is going to be, an enormous stretch. But, the right focus, the right support, both government, private, where there's a will, there's a way. And I think that's what we find so captivating about the North American market. Its potential, because it's got the resource base, particularly in Quebec, and then it's got the market demand, particularly in the US market.
It truly is incredible how rapidly this transition has been picking up pace. I'd love just to hear, what are some of those key tailwinds that you think investors should really be focusing on when looking at the space? And then also what you think COP26 and these broader discussions at a governmental level could mean for the story moving forward for the lithium sector?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, and COP26 will demonstrate that there is a social revolution going on that is unstoppable in terms of driving us for solutions to our current climate problems, which are only going to get bigger. Everyone I think can feel that and is reacting to it, and that is what's going to drive this wave, right, of investment to a tidal wave, because all of us, it's all about planet, and we're all going to be pushing to go faster and further, because we've all got something to win and we've all got something to lose. There's not too many industries where you can say that. Even a bottle of Coca-Cola is probably not drunk in that many countries in the world. But I think this transportation and electrification of it is universal, truly universal. It is an amazing revolution we're going through at the moment.
And for those who might just be hearing about the ASX SYA story now, can you just speak finally about how Sayona Mining and their hub in Quebec feeds into all of this and really has the opportunity to be one of the leading players in the North American market moving forward?
Well, I guess we start with the end in mind, and this has been, albeit we're as shocked as anyone how fast our growth spurt has been in 2021. We did always envisage and develop a strategy to ride this tide of moving towards renewable energies and based on lithium mining and conversion. So we've quickly assembled, what we call a scalable and a world-class portfolio of assets in Quebec, and when we last spoke, we I think had Ortier, which we were developing through a feasibility study, Tanzan, which is an exploration project. We were bidding on NAL, and then in addition to those, which we successfully won, then we've put a fourth asset into our portfolio, which is a significant reserve and resource base in northern Quebec. And so combined, that really has given us a significant footprint, significantly larger than anyone else who's really operating and has assets, lithium assets in Quebec, the largest resource base in North America we now have. So we've moved quickly because we're anticipating, that at some point the brakes would come off, and we would need to. The market would demand this 18-fold increase in supply. So that is how we're positioning ourselves from a capacity to supply perspective, and we're not finished there yet. We will both organically and inorganically look to expand our resource base because we know the market needs more. And in addition to that, we will attempt to do two other things, because I said one was about volume and the other was speed. So a very big priority for us now is to refurbish and to recommission the NAL operations. NAL has got the only operating concentrator in North America. It's capable of producing over 200,000 tonnes a year, and we've put a team on site since we took the keys, and that was only at the end of July, August, and already they're on site developing the plans to have that back in production by the start of 2023, which is not far away now. And so we will be looking to be in production at NAL at that time to be able to keep up with the rate of demand that's coming, as well as the size. So that's two of the key projects. The third one really is NAL is also very interesting opportunity because it has the start, the bones of a carbonate plant on site, which is where we take the 6% concentrate and convert it to a 99% chemical. So we're in the process now of evaluating, what the opportunities are, and potentially how quickly we could move to that next level of value add. And that, I think, is an incredibly exciting opportunity for Sayona shareholders, where literally 12 months ago we were a junior explorer developing exploration projects, and literally today we're putting the capital on the ground. We've just raised $125 million for Moblan. We raised another $50 million for NAL, and we're putting the investment capital in to be actually a producer of lithium spodumene, and potentially then a refiner. So all of that's come together, very quickly. Little steps, but quickly, I think, is how I'd like to describe it. So they're all underway now.
It is an incredible story. It's been a fascinating past year, and there's still plenty more to come. So we'll continue to watch. That's the Sayona Mining story. It's ASX SYA. As mentioned at the start of the video, we've done a recent interview with Brett as well, doing a bit more of a deeper dive into the Sayona story. So if you haven't seen that, you can check it out after this one. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to share it out. Make daily videos, so make sure you subscribe and turn your bell notifications on. Brett, really appreciate your time and having the opportunity to unpack the broader lithium story. Thank you so much for joining us again, mate.
Oh, thank you. Always a pleasure. Look forward to being back with you again soon.
Talk soon. Thanks, mate.